December football. We're trying to play meaningful football in December, right? We got 4 games left. We got a 2-game road trip. I'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Hey, good work today, boys. Way to keep swinging. That's all it takes. One day at a time. Let's keep grinding. Bucs on 3, 1, 2, 3.
What is going on, Bucs fans and CFP fans? Evan and Wanish here, back at you with yet another video talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And today we're going to be going over the best and the worst from the Buccaneers' Week 14 victory, 28-13 over the Las Vegas Raiders. The Bucs are now 7-6, sit atop of the NFC South right now after Atlanta's 4-game losing streak, and the Bucs themselves are on a 3-game winning streak. So positive signs there. I am not alone today, though. Joining me here is my CFP co-host, Mr. Rhett Matthew. Rhett, how are you doing today?
I am doing well. Gotta love a victory Monday, and we're going streaking, my friend. We're going streaking! Yeah! The Buccaneers, as you said, winners of 3 in a row. An ugly win is still a win, and this is a time of year where the Buccaneers need all the wins they can get, so I will gladly take it. 7-6, over 500 for the first time in quite a few weeks, feels pretty good as well.
For sure. And speaking of pretty good, let's talk about the guys that were pretty good today. And we're going to start on offense, and we're going to mention Rachaad White. So Rachaad White, basically your starter in this game. Bucky Irving did play, but I think they realized pretty early on in the game that he wasn't going to be able to be very effective. It was on the injury report all week. Obviously, was really hurting. Only had 4 carries on Sunday for the Bucs. So Rachaad White had 17 carries for 90 yards and a touchdown. Also had 2 catches for 19 yards and a receiving touchdown. The first time in his career he's had a receiving touchdown and a rushing touchdown in the same game. So Rachaad White was a difference maker for the Buccaneers on Sunday.
Rachaad White now has 10 receiving touchdowns in his Buccaneers career. He is second in Buccaneers history behind Mike Allstott for running back receiving touchdowns. He still seems like such a young player, but yeah, the Buccaneers have really found a way to maximize his efficiency this season. I know that I may have given him some slack earlier in the year, called him more of a pass-catching back, but he's proven me wrong. He's proven he can do it all, and in the absence of Bucky Irving, that's exactly what they needed him to do. Strong performance for him.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, they needed him to be productive in this one, and he was just that. So another player that I think the Buccaneers needed a strong day from, and they got, was Jalen McMillan. McMillan had 4 catches for 59 yards and 2 touchdowns, including the opening drive touchdown and really the touchdown that basically ended it. Put the Bucs up 2 scores there at the end. So McMillan finds the end zone twice, his first career multi-touchdown game. So good to see the rookie get in the end zone, make some impact plays for the Bucs, and hopefully this is something he can continue to build off of.
Yeah, and we've talked almost at nauseum these last few weeks about how some of these wide receivers, not named Mike Evans, need to step up, start catching some more passes, and the pressure on Jalen McMillan as a rookie to step up and be one of those guys was insurmountable, and he has stepped up, played well for the Buccaneers this week. Big-time performance. As you said, 2 touchdowns, so good to see the rookie finding the end zone. You got to like this for his production, and hopefully it means he can get into a rhythm here moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully it means, we can expect to see some more Jalen McMillan targets perhaps in the future here. With only 4 regular season games remaining, there's still plenty of opportunities for McMillan to step up and be productive. So with that being said, let's move on to the defensive side of the ball, talk about some of the positives there. We're going to mention Lavonte David, which obviously a guy who has appeared on this list, many times before, but 7 total tackles on Sunday, had 1 sack early in the game. The first defensive drive of the game ended that Raiders drive there with a sack. Lavonte David really all over the place, and also I believe had a fumble recovery on the Raiders fumble there. So really continuing to show that Father Time's undefeated, but Lavonte David's telling him, hang on a minute here. So Lavonte David continues to make plays, even when it's not his strongest season ever, but you can still see the flashes there. And Sunday was definitely a day where Lavonte David definitely flashed.
Yeah, and it always feels like a strong day for the defense whenever Lavonte David is able to get after the quarterback. He got that sack and the big-time fumble recovery for the 19th of his career, the most among active NFL defenders since 2012. we've called him the ageless wonder. And yeah, we've said before, there's certain aspects of his game where Levante David can't quite turn and burn the way that he used to, but his football IQ, being in the right place at the right time, and managing to continue to make plays for this Buccaneers defense just prove why he is so loved around this community and around this team. You love to see it from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Continues to do it. So now we're going to go from an ageless wonder to a guy who is a young player who really stepped up and not a guy you would, I think, expected to step up, and that is Kayvon Merriweather. Also had 7 total tackles in this game, and also had 1 sack. He's credited with a sack. I think it was on the one where Desmond Ridder, I Bleav, tried to run. Then he was able to make the great tackle. I think that's where they credited the sack. So Kayvon Merriweather stepped up, and he was signed earlier this week after the Bucs, had a couple of safeties went down, and luckily in this game that he was able to step up because Antoine Winfield Jr. ended up leaving this game with a knee injury, and did not return. Kayvon Merriweather's presence and production was definitely needed for the Bucs.
Yeah, a lot of big guys making their return to the lineup, making big plays, and Kayvon Merriweather was another one. It's impressive because, as you said, he spent a couple of weeks on the Lions practice squad, so he's coming back into the system. I know he has played before. This is his second go-around with the Bucs in that safety room. They are hurting. He had to make a lot of plays very quickly, and he did just that. So, yeah, another guy stepping up on the defensive side of the ball who really is going to turn out to be a valuable piece here down the stretch.
Well, we talk about injuries and stuff, and one of the guys that the Bucs had coming back was Tyke Smith, who had missed a couple of games there. And Tyke Smith makes a pretty critical play in this game. Only had 3 tackles, nothing, crazy there, but has an interception. That's the Bucs' first interception since week 6, but it comes at a critical spot. The Raiders are at that point down 14-10. They have a 9-minute drive to open up the second half, and they could have scored a touchdown there and taken the lead. Instead, Tyke Smith jumps in front of Brock Bowers and picks off the pass. So, a pretty big play there by Tyke Smith, and his presence on the defense the past few weeks was definitely missed.
My favorite part about the Tyke Smith interception is the fact that the Buccaneers interception drought. They've gone 2 months without an INT. The last player to get one before Tyke Smith on Sunday was Tyke Smith in week 6. So he is picking up exactly where he left off. You do love to see it. And these guys that are stepping up, the young guys that are stepping up, this is proving to be potentially another home run pick for Jason Licht, a very promising and productive rookie season for Tyke Smith when he's available and on the field.
For sure. Yeah, again, it's like you said, it's looking like another solid draft pick by Mr. Jason Licht. But like I said, even in the wins, there are some negatives, and let's get into the negatives. We're going to mention Baker Mayfield. And look, Mayfield made some plays, obviously, especially early in this game. He did make some plays, but that second quarter, that was a bad quarter of football by the quarterback there. Finishes, the numbers don't look awful, okay? The numbers, 18-29, 295 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 101.9. The numbers don't look terrible, but when you watch it, he also had a fumble. So he had 3 total turnovers, but when you watch it, holding on to the ball too long, not quick making decisions, letting the pass rush get there, and forcing some decisions that just don't need to be forced. And this is now 5 turnovers in the last 2 games by Baker Mayfield, and it's a trend that hopefully the Bucs are hoping to reverse here sooner rather than later.
Yeah, the timing of these turnovers is probably the most concerning part when you consider how well Baker has played in the grand scheme of this season. 28 touchdowns on the year, I Bleav surpassed his career high, if not tied it currently. Liam Cohen has got him playing a great brand of football, but when he is spiraling in a game like this, and we've seen him melt down on other occasions this season, it is hurting the team. And when you start talking about playing a complete game, getting ready for the postseason, you need your quarterback to really be at the top of that list of guys who are putting together a complete game. You need him to be reliable here. And when you're playing bad teams making these mistakes, you can get away with it and you can get a win like they did on Sunday against the Raiders. You may not be able to do that in the first or second round of the NFL playoffs. So Baker is certainly going to have to get back to protecting the football. I think that's something Liam Cohen's going to be working on with him for sure these next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I think is going to be a point of emphasis because like you said, you can't have it happen against better teams. It's not going to end well for you. You can't have one quarter with 3 turnovers and expect to win that game. It's simply not going to happen. But let's move on to the defensive side of the ball, and we're going to be talking about the Buccaneers pass rush, not necessarily their blitz packages, okay? Because I thought their blitz packages worked pretty well. But again, they're 4-man pass rush, and this is something else to where if it's against a better team, it's not going to fly. It's just simply not going to be good enough. And the Bucs 4-man pass rush again was not very good on Sunday for the Bucs, and it seemed like every time they were getting pressure, it was because they were blitzing. And you know what? A really good quarterback and a really good offense is going to have answers for your blitzes. So eventually, you're going to have to find a way to rush the passer forward. And the Bucs really this whole season, have not been able to do that.
Yeah, injury is going to play a factor. Injury certainly going to play a factor there as well. No Joe Tryon-Shoyinka at that outside linebacker spot for the Buccaneers this week. But all year long, we've kind of been screaming from the rooftops, you're relying on these younger guys to step up. Kalijah Kancey and Vita Vea, they have stepped up. They have played well this season. But you need some of these other guys to step up, especially when you are in a situation relying on that 4-man pass rush. It doesn't feel like they're getting consistent pressure this week, especially against the Raiders. A couple of big-time plays. We were praising Levante David getting after the quarterback earlier. The blitz packages look good, but that 4-man pass rush, when you're down Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, guys have to step up, and there just wasn't enough pressure on Sunday.
No, for sure. And then we're also going to focus in the secondary a little bit and talk about Jamel Dean. Jamel Dean only had 2 tackles. He's a corner, so I'm not expecting the tackle number to be super high or anything. But there's a couple of times where you would miss a tackle, or I know there was a critical 4th down later in the game where he had the guy. It would have been close. I think he probably would have gotten the 1st down anyway. But Jamel Dean misses the tackle, and then Jacoby Myers ends up breaking off for 10, 15 more yards. That simply can't happen. And Jamel Dean is one of the leaders of his defense, and he's one of the considered one of the defense's better players, and he hasn't really been playing like it. So he's somebody where if the Bucs want to, be able to go on a playoff run, he's going to have to turn it around.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's one of your last healthy starters in that secondary. Zion McCollum has had a great season on the other side of Jamel Dean, but Jamel Dean, a guy that they put a lot of trust in after moving on from Carlton Davis, just hasn't really had the season that they would have hoped. He's had ups and downs so far this year, but Sunday against the Raiders was just not a good day for him.
Yeah, absolutely. But let us know what you guys think. Do you have any best or worst that we didn't mention that you guys noticed on Sunday? Let us know in the comment section below. We're always curious to hear your guys' thoughts. But let me know in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And go Bucs.